Hey, how you doing? Was just replacing the tubes in these two Schwinn's over here, covered in dust here in the house. I had a thought while I was doing that, and I wanted to throw this out at you guys because I don't know. I don't know a lot of things. I don't think I know everything. I just put out there what I'm thinking, you know. And I was thinking about something I said in my Sunday night chat video last week about where I was talking about how to fix these problems we're having with these kids today. They're just you know dumb. But I really think the big problem is the teaching issue, right? It's all pretty much liberal women are teachers. That's it. There's no masculine men teaching anymore. And I kind of put it out there that we should have like a warrior to classroom program for veterans to become teachers. And we should at least have an equal representation of people who are more conservative minded in the schools teaching our kids. Like the only DEI I would support would be that, right? Like more men as teachers in schools, because you need it. You need a guy in the faculty room, What did you say? You said that to the kids? I went through this whole bit with you guys on the Sunday night chat. Because that's the problem, is you got these people that are, by the way, I'm generalizing. Generalization is part of being human, by the way, okay? I shouldn't have to preface everything I say with, I'm just generalizing here. Obviously, I don't mean all people. I don't mean all Democrats. I don't mean all Republicans. I don't mean all conservatives. I don't mean all black people. I don't mean all Chinese people. I don't mean I shouldn't have to qualify every statement before I see it, just so those of you who get butt hurt so easy aren't butt hurt so easy. You know what I'm saying? So this is an adult place. This channel right here, it's all for adults. Because some of you ain't acting like adults, is all I'm saying. Now, let me get to this teaching thing, because this is where it's coming from. Bad ideas have been being put in kids' heads for decades now, and now we see what the repercussions of that are. And I also said I don't think it's a good idea that people go from high school to college to teaching. I think you should have life before you become a teacher. I don't think you should be able to be a teacher until you're in your 30s. And I don't think that what I'm saying here is so crazy, as evidenced by the skyrocketing rates of homeschooling, which is a thing that's been going on for pretty much a generation now, I think, multiple decades. And I think today more people are homeschooling than ever. And this is the question I'm posing to you. Maybe you can't do it. I don't know. I'm asking. That's what this video is here. What's to stop a group of families from bringing back the one-room schoolhouse idea again? It seems to me like a bunch of like-minded people who have kids within a few years of one another would probably like that idea. It would lessen the workload on each one of them. You could get one parent to teach English. You could get another parent to teach arithmetic. You could get another parent to teach history. You could get another parent to do maybe current events, or let's bring back civics, to the kids. Let's bring that back, right? I'm assuming that I haven't raised any kids of my own. So I haven't had a homeschool or anything, so I'm sure there's a basic curriculum or some basic tests that those kids have to pass. I think it's out there. I think it's a fact that homeschool kids are smarter. They probably do better on test scores, and they're just better read. They know history and everything else. But I was just thinking about this. You could have a location where the parents drop the kids off, and the kids could the people who teach the classes could rotate throughout the year too. And then I thought to myself, what else would be good for kids that could work in this system if it's something that you could do? Somebody's going to type down there, you can't do it, and here's why. That's fine. Let me know. I'm ignorant about this subject. I'm ignorant about a lot of things. So are you. Nobody knows everything. So I would say, you have these classes, and again, you bring back civics, you teach the basics, reading, writing, arithmetic. But then the last class of the day would be the class I'd want to teach. Mr. Z. And my class would be, what did you hear today in school, kids? What did you learn from these adults in class today? Now, you can't do much with the arithmetic. The arithmetic, you can't screw with that. Reading, writing, you can have some fun with that. Because the idea would be it'd be a fun class, but it would be all about reinforcing what the kids heard in school that day. It would be open discussion. That's what you heard? That's interesting. Okay. And my job, or this person's job for this class, would be to give a rebuttal to that, possibly, or if you agree with it, you explain why you agree with it. If you don't agree with it, you go, I don't really agree with that personally, but here's why. Now, the idea of this isn't to undermine the other adult that taught them something. It's to teach kids that what they're hearing can be questioned, that you can see other sides to things. And if I was teaching an English class to kids, once they're, excuse me, at a certain age, whatever the assignment would be, I would personally, as a teacher, want to ask those kids, okay, I want you to, here's the paper, here's the subject of the paper you're going to write, here's what I want you to do. I want you to give me pros and cons for this same situation. Tell me what the benefits are, tell me what the negatives would be. Write a paper, instead of one page paper, it'll be 2 pages. Write one page that's going to be this subject in a positive light, write it in a negative light. Teach the kids how to think again. Get them to turn the gear in their brains to think. Let them have a dialogue, even at an early age, where, hey, here, because I've been in clients' houses, man, with kids, 8-year-old kids, who say dumb things to me, and I'm like, where did you hear that? And they don't know anything. You know, the stuff that I knew 8, 9, 10 years old, that these kids they're hearing this crazy stuff from, especially I'm in Los Angeles, man. And I've had to have conversations with their parents at different times. Like, this is what I heard your kid. I got one of my clients got mad at me one day because her kids said a bunch of nonsense to me, and I was talking to them about it. I kind of schooled them. I mean, I didn't kind of. I did. And then I did a video. It wasn't about her kids. It was about this general idea. And she saw the video, and she got upset. I was like, hey, I'm not saying your kids are dumb. I'm saying that they're saying dumb things to me. That's not them. That's what was programmed into their brains. Are you not having these conversations with your kids every day? And if you are, you just, maybe you believe the same thing? That's what the problem is. So you need to hear, kids need to understand that people could disagree on certain topics as long as they give the reasoning for it. My reason for not agreeing with this is, my background, where I came from. This is my personal experience. That guy thinks that way because those are his experiences. Both of those are valid. One is not necessarily right and the other one wrong. But what it does is it gets the kids to realize this. Again, we need to do this because something happened here along the way. And they're not teaching kids how to think. They're telling them what to think. And I talk to young people. A couple young people recently in their 20s where the conversation goes from, well, what do you know about that? And they've literally said to me, I don't need to know. I could just look it up on my phone. And then I have to point out to them, well, depending on where you're getting that information, you might only be getting it from one side. Are you taking the time to look up other points of view on the same topic? No, of course not. That's all this is about. So you tell me, is the one-room schoolhouse a good idea? Is the idea of a class like that in school every day a good idea? I think that's a good idea. That should be implemented in public schools. But you'd have to have a normal person come in, which ain't good. The reason why the men aren't in the classrooms, the reason why the men aren't in the schools is because in the faculty room, they won't allow it. That's why. Because those people that have been teachers for decades are not used to having their positions challenged, and it's not going to go well. So there needs to be, and that's what Charlie Kirk was doing, man. Charlie Kirk was bringing the fight to the college campuses, sitting there with a table and saying, let's have a discussion. And when he got attacked, and he does all the time, or he did all the time, what did he do? You listen to him. He tries to find common ground, one thing that they can both agree on, so that they can both just jump up from that point, or off from that point, to find a way to understand one another. That's what needs to happen. So, you tell me, one-room schoolhouse? A class at the end of the day where you talk about to the kids about what they heard in school that day? An adult that gives another point of view and explains to them it's okay to have another point of view? What do you think? I think it's a good idea. Be good to one another. I'll catch you in the next one.